My name is Ethan, and this happened in Chicago back in 2022. I still can't sleep properly because of it. I had just moved into a cheap apartment building near downtown. The place was old, quiet, and honestly, kind of creepy. But rent was low, and I didn't have many options. The landlord gave me one strange warning on the first day. He said, "Whatever you hear from apartment 307, ignore it." I laughed and asked why, but he just stared at me and walked away. At first, everything seemed normal, until the third night. At exactly 3:07 a.m., knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks came from the wall beside my bed. I checked the time on my phone. 3:07 a.m. I thought maybe my neighbor needed help or something. So I went into the hallway. Apartment 307 was right across from mine. The hallway lights flickered as I walked closer. Then I noticed something strange. There was a chain on the outside of the apartment door, locked from the outside. I froze. If the apartment was locked from outside, who was knocking? That's when I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. This time louder, coming from inside. I backed away slowly, but then a woman's voice whispered through the door. "Please, help me." My heart started racing. I pulled out my phone to call the police, but before I could dial, the whisper changed. "Ethan." I stopped breathing. I never told anyone my name. Then suddenly, bang! Something slammed hard against the door from inside. The entire hallway went silent. I ran back into my apartment and locked everything. A few minutes later, I heard footsteps outside my door. Slow footsteps. Then, knock, knock, knock. Exactly 3 knocks. I looked through the peephole. Nobody. But then I looked down. There was a shadow standing directly under the peephole, too close to see. Then the whisper came again. "Let me in." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. For almost an hour, the shadow stayed there. Then finally, silence. The next morning, I went to the landlord and told him everything. His face turned pale. He quietly said, "The woman in 307 died 3 years ago." I thought he was joking, but he continued. "She used to knock on neighbors' doors every night asking for help, until one day, police found her dead inside the apartment." I asked him why the apartment was still locked, and he said something I'll never forget. "Because nobody has entered apartment 307 since her death." That night, I packed my things and left the building forever. But before I drove away, I looked up at the apartment window, apartment 307, and standing behind the glass was a woman smiling at me, slowly raising her hand. Then, knock, knock, knock.